welcome to the Marvel Plus podcast, the show where we talk the Marvel shows on Disney Plus and how they connect to the MCU. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011, and you catch this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma9011, usually every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. You can join the chat and all the fun theory discussion if you're a subscriber over there. We'd love to have you. But if you can't catch it live, that's a-okay. It drops over on YouTube the very next day, or it drops at 12 noon Eastern. You can give it a watch, give it a listen over there, and let us know in the comment section down below what you think of the show. Today, we're continuing our rapid race to the finish with Daredevil Season 1. We're talking Episode 8, Shadows in the Glass, aka another Kingpin episode, and boy, oh boy, does it fucking go in. So, as you guys know, maybe, I take a lot of notes during this show, just as I watch it, just like, what are my immediate thoughts, whatever. I didn't realize how much, no one else is in this episode, and it's super Kingpin focused. So, I'm going to touch briefly on, Matt, Karen, Foggy, Ben, what their situation is. But we have a whole lot of Kingpin, so I hope you're ready to learn about this man's history, because I know I was. So we're going to open up with Kingpin. He's waking up from a dream. He's having a bit of a rough time. And we see the painting again. We see the rabbit piece, the white rabbit piece, the blank canvas. Not really. And we kind of see this man's routine. He's making an omelet. He's a chef. We see him picking out his suit. He's got a lot of black suits. He's got a nice shirt. He's got his tie. He's getting his cufflinks that we see all the time, even though he has numerous cufflinks. And what the fuck? There is a child behind him, all bloodied, just there. Okay. Kingpin's going to turn around, and it's his reflection. Okay. Opening. So now, quick over to Matt, like we even need to see this man. He's busted up in his apartment. Obviously still a wreckage from his fight with Stick. That's really it. We're going to go over to Karen and Foggy. They're talking in the office. We saw in last episode that Foggy is now in on the group with Ben, with Karen, trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with Union Allied and the whole New York City connection. They're talking about Matt. Should we let Matt in? Should we tell him? Whatever. Matt is going to enter into the office, and he's already overheard this and kind of teases them, what should you tell me? Or what should you, let me know about. And Karen's going to immediately open up with the situation. They play no defense at all. Matt's going to question it and the whole situation. And Matt essentially warns against the dangers of, chasing after stuff like this. You're putting yourself at risk. And the two kind of share their story that already had happened with the two men, the bald man and the tattooed man, when they got attacked, and Foggy was able to assist. Once again, Matt's, upset about this. Karen doesn't care. She's more about, figuring this out and, doing what's right. And Matt's like, okay, you're right, but let's be smart about this. And let's figure out, what we can do within the perimeters of the law. The law is we're going to use that to our advantage in this situation. So, let's flip over to Kingpin again. Kingpin's going to be having a little bit of a meeting with Wesley and Nobu, who we kind of got to know a little bit better last episode. And Nobu is kind of questioning the position of the Kingpin. And, seems like he's getting weak. Black Sky is confirmed dead. We saw that child, unfortunately. Well, didn't see the death, but we know that Stick has unfortunately eliminated that child, who was the weapon. And Kingpin comes at his own defense and is like, well, were the police kept out of the situation, like you asked? Yes. So, he's asking if they need to renegotiate their deal. Is something wrong, the relationship? And Nobu leaves in a huff. Ugh, whatever. And Wesley says that he needs to be dealt with, Like, the whole situation needs to be dealt with. You're losing, obviously, authority here, the fear over top of them, and we need to get back on track. So we get an interesting transition here. We fly through a busy street into an apartment, and we see Kid Kingpin again. And we kind of get a little bit of his family history. He's helping out his dad with some building stuff, cutting some wood, messes up. Dad's not happy about it, but, tells him what to do. And we kind of see a little bit more of their history. We see that the bills are past due, so there's some problems financially in the household. And it turns out that the dad has decided to run for city council. He's not happy with how things are in the situation there. So he's running for city council. He also mentioned that money isn't an issue. He took out a loan. As we know, a loan, oh boy, no trouble can come from that. And he'll be able to pay the stuff. Tells his wife not worry about it. And we can see that he has a big influence on his son. Mannerisms, verbiage, etc. So that's going to be it for our flashback for right now. We're going to go back to current day. And Kingpin's on the phone. He's talking with Vanessa. Still a thing. Cool. All right. Great. And while this is happening, he's going to get another phone call, but this time from Wesley. And Wesley is informing Kingpin that Officer Blake, who was shot, is now coming out of his coma. And they need to take care of him because he says too much shit. But the situation is he has a 24-hour surveillance security presence on him, and only 2 of the men in the security detail are on Kingpin's payroll. So it's going to be a little bit tougher to deal with. So they're going to try and connect with Blake's partner Hoffman, see if he can assist. So they're talking to Hoffman, and essentially they're sharing the situation. They're scared Blake is going to talk, is going to say something to get Fisk more in trouble. And the reason that Fisk is so upset with Blake and Hoffman technically is there was no communication at all that the Russian addresses were leaked or given out to Daredevil, compromised. And he's scared that that is another piece of evidence that could be used against him. Hoffman understands the stress, but says, Blake and I are friends. We're good friends. I don't know if I could do that to him, take him out like that. And Kingpin just says, all right, I understand. What's your friendship worth in a rough dollar amount? And just flat out asks him for a price, how much money it would require. So we're going to follow Hoffman now. He's at the hospital. Goes through the whole check-in system. Claims that he's bringing Blake a sandwich from a place that he likes. And is able to get in the room no problem. He goes to the bed. Starts unwrapping the sandwich. The sandwich has a needle concealed in it. Injects Blake with the needle. Blake is going to wake up and scare Hoffman to death. Well, not to death, but, scares Hoffman, gets him by surprise. Blake asks him what he's doing. Daredevil somehow managed to get in the room, will take out Hoffman, and attempts to get information from Blake before he dies, before he leaves. And I don't think he got much. He got something. I have written down, is it my turn for this? Maybe that was just Blake saying, shit, is it my turn to die because of that? But unable to get some information out, Matt will make a run for it as the cops break in through the door. Switching over to Leland now. Leland's hanging out with Kingpin. He's getting a suit fitted. And he's talking to Fisk. And it seems that it is the special tailored suit similar to Kingpin. What he has, that Kevlar, protective material, whatever it is. He's getting fitted for that. So they, along with the suit, are looking to move Leland somewhere safe with protection. Great. Awesome. Wesley's going to join in. He's talking about the complications that have arisen at the hospital. Leland, overhearing this, is not happy with the situation at all. And luckily, Hoffman was not exposed with the interference. He's still in the clear. So there's no ties back to him just yet. All right, so now we're going to get another flashback back to Kingpin's childhood. And Kingpin's upset. He's gotten bullied. Mom is helping him out, being supportive, giving him some cake, trying to make him happy. And Dad's not happy with the whole situation. Claims his son is fat. Perk up. Like, we're going to deal with this situation. And they decide to go confront the kid. It's an older kid, probably high schooler. And the kid was breaking the dad's stuff. His campaign signs. The campaign is over. Unfortunately, Kingpin Sr., Fisk Sr., did not win. And essentially, the dad is going to get in an altercation with the kid. He's going to grab the kid, and the two are going to get in a scuffle, get in a fight. And the dad's going to beat him down for a little bit, and then with a bat, too. And then he calls over Kingpin, and essentially just has him kick him over and over and over and over again while shouting at him. Hoofa. All right, this man's got some trauma. Kingpin's going to wake up once again from this nightmare, and we see him kind of go through his routine again, staring at the painting, making omelets, getting a phone call, however, while putting on his cufflinks this time. Same cufflinks. And it's from Wesley. Apparently, Madame Gao wants to meet with him and is already technically on her way. And Wesley will be there shortly. He's coming to support. So now we get the altercation between Madame Gao and Kingpin. And we also get the reveal that Madame Gao can speak English, and Fisk can also speak Mandarin, Chinese, Japanese, German, Russian, blah, 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 blah. Can speak fluently in everything. Wesley's this random middleman that's just been there for a facade. So Wesley's going to be dismissed, and the two are going to continue their discussion. Essentially, Madame Gao is going to say the group isn't happy with how the situation has been going, and, mentions that Kingpin is getting sloppy. She discovered, obviously, where he has lived, or where his apartment is, very easily. Usually that was something he would keep very under wraps, keep things secretive about himself. He essentially was a shadow, and it's going away. And Madame Gao essentially leaves him with one more notice of restore your house to order, or she'll be dealing with Nobu and Leland, essentially working together with them. So, she leaves. Kingpin flips his shit. Table flipped, screaming, mad, upset, pissed. Wesley will run in. Kingpin will yell at him to get out. We're going to flashback to him being a kid again. So, I don't know exactly if this was directly after the bully situation. I want to say it was. But they return to home, and Kingpin gets sat down, told to stare at a wall, and think about the kind of man you want to be. And the wall looks very similar to the White Rabbit painting. The dad, in a rage, says he's going to leave to take care of something. Mom's worried. Tries to reach out, talk to, support her husband. Try and figure out what the fuck is going on, essentially. And we're going to notice that the dad has cufflinks on. The same cufflinks we've been seeing Kingpin wearing this whole series. And Mom's going to try and question what's going on. And unfortunately, Fisk is going to freak out, already in an enraged state, and he's going to start abusing his wife, the mother. Flip back to current. Kingpin is looking out on the city, out of his great view from his apartment. Wesley will approach. Kingpin says, I didn't call for you. He's still very upset. And Wesley will reveal that he brought Vanessa. Fisk asks her to leave. He's not in a state that he feels comfortable. And, Vanessa pretty much says, like, you promised you would be honest with me in this relationship. And Fisk admits that he's afraid. He's scared. So now we're going to go back to the childhood. This is essentially Fisk kind of opening up to Vanessa and explaining his situation, his history. But now, as the audience, we get to see this final piece and live it as a fly in the wall, I guess you could say. So unfortunately, we're back to him being a kid. And unfortunately, we're in the terrible situation of the father beating the mom. Kingpin staring at this situation, obviously, caring for his mother very much, is going to get up from his chair, grab a hammer from the table, and essentially hit his father in the back of the head, knocking him out, killing him, damaging him, whatever. His father will fall. And then this show really lays it in, as Kingpin Wilson is going to continue to beat his father with the hammer and scream at him, just like the situation with the bully. Whoo, boy. Blood is going to splatter everywhere. Wilson is going to kill his father. And yikes. Mom will get up finally. We'll comfort him. We'll, try and calm him down. Bring him down. And then the mom fucking just says, okay, get the saw. Just like, Jesus Christ, my heart, like obviously this whole situation is fucked up, but my heart, did this weird, drop, the Tower of Terror, sudden drop of, what the fuck? What is wrong with you? I know she's trying to protect her son, but that was just such a twisted statement of, get the saw. Just, whoa, okay. Anyways, so Mom's going to hand him the cufflinks after this whole awkward, vile situation. And Mom's going to start sawing away. We're going to go back to current day. Wilson finishing up this story, thank God. Tells Vanessa how slowly they brought out the body parts to, I think it was a river over time to get rid of the father and the body and the evidence. And luckily, people already knew of his father's situation with taking out the loan from Rigoletto and kind of figured maybe Rigoletto had dealt with it, or he had run out of town or whatever. Fisk had been sent to live with relatives, as we had heard before. And, he lived his days from there. Fisk, very emotional, obviously pouring out his own heart here, says he's not a monster. Bullshit. And claims that people are trying to drag his name and, make him out to be the bad guy. And Vanessa simply asks him, will you let them? And he says no. So now we're going to get one more moment with Matt, or Daredevil rather. So Ben is on the phone talking to somebody about this story's a bust. He's in a rainstorm. And he's trying to get into his car, hangs up the phone, drops his keys, unfortunately. And Daredevil's going to arrive to talk to him. Ben obviously is scared. and asks him, do you believe what they're saying about me? And Ben is kind of on his side a little bit, or at least is understanding and willing to give him the time to listen, because he knows of stories told in the past about a masked man helping people. Obviously, the more recent stories kind of paint him in a different light, and that's where he's kind of tentative, but he knows of the good, or has heard of the good that he was doing before. So essentially the two talk about the situation. Fisk's name is traded over, and they're talking about exposing this man. How do you scare someone like this? How do you, do the damage that you can, is bring this person into the light, expose what they're doing. So that's the plan. All right, great. Ben asks Daredevil to tell him everything he knows. So we're going to follow up with Kingpin one more time. He's going to wake up once again, but now Vanessa's with him. Heyo. And he's going to focus on her instead of the painting. So he's moving on. He's moving forward. We're going to see a little happy moment from them. Vanessa helping him move forward, choosing a gray suit, some new clothes, some new cufflinks, blah, blah, blah. While this is going on, Ben is going to be narrating his article that he is typing out, that he's going to be publishing, essentially exposing Wilson, or trying to scare him in his situation. Unfortunately, Ben will turn on the news seemingly as he finishes the article and sees that Fisk is just like at a podium and announcing how he's going to help the city, using almost the exact same verbiage as the article. Now that's just irony, whatever. And this is going to frustrate Ben. Deletes his article, obviously, because Fisk has seemingly come out himself. And Matt, as well, is going to see this at his home and is pissed, breaking his own laptop. And this is where the episode will end. Oh, boy. Man, this episode was dark as shit. Just seeing the situation of, obviously, Kingpin and what he had gone through with the abusive family, what he had done to his father, and obviously dealing with that as a child. Fucked up. So it's good to see this side of the villain and see their motivations and their history, but man, very dark, very scary. So yeah, it was a very Kingpin focused episode. So as soon as our heroes seemed like, we have the upper hand, to have that immediately smacked down. Now Fisk is seen as a hero, trying to help the city, trying to help his community. Really throws a wrench into everything that these guys are trying to do. So, man, great episode with episode 8. Like I said, not a lot of Daredevil in it, just focusing on Fisk stuff, but really, really good. It's going to be interesting to see where things go from here. And yeah, to see how our heroes and protagonists are going to kind of deal with things going forward. It seems like Matt is going to run into some more problems and some new challenges that lay ahead for him. So we'll have to see how that rolls out in the next couple of episodes. But this has been another episode of the Marvel Plus podcast. My name is Bret, aka Enigma911, and if you want to catch this podcast live, you can join us over on twitch.tv/Enigma911 every Sunday, usually at 7 p.m. Eastern. You join the chat and join on all the fun theory discussion. If you're a subscriber over there, we'd love to have you. But if you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. You can go over to YouTube the very next day, or post at 12 noon Eastern. You join the chat and comment down below what you think of the show. And we'll be happy to discuss it with you over there. But I hope you guys are still enjoying Daredevil. Remember, the show is going to be wrapping up over on Netflix on February 28th. So if you want to binge the rest of the season, along with the other seasons and other shows, I highly recommend you do that before it switches over to a new streaming service. If it even does that, as we saw with this series, or at least this episode, things get really dark really fast. I don't know if they want to throw that on Disney Plus. But yeah, there's no confirmation if this is going to Disney Plus or Hulu. Obviously, these characters' histories, at least Daredevil's at this point, and Kingpin's are important, and with it all tying in, would be nice to see. But obviously, it's a different presentation of these characters, more violent. So I don't know if Disney wants those on their streaming services, but we will have to see and wait it out unless it goes into the vault. But anyways, thanks for joining me today, guys. Thanks for giving us a watch, giving a listen, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care.